What's going on, motorsports fans? This is Jared here with the Bearded Garagistas, back again with another interview. I got Dan from Organized Garage Status, and we're going to get to know him and about his business and how he started and how he built this massive, beautiful, thing that he's got going, where he's pretty much changing how you look at the front end of a car. All right, Dan, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Jared? Everything's good.
All right. So I saw that you do a lot of headlights. I want to talk about the tail lights first, because I did see that you do sell some tail lights on your website here. Was that always something that you wanted to do, or did you just kind of like tail lights had to go with the headlights, or is that, do you custom make those as well?
Well, I love being innovative. It's just something that stuck to me. My parents has always been, business minded. And from what I've seen growing up, if you just stop and just keep doing what you do, that's when you start losing business. So when I got into it, I just wanted to, get everything people throw at me. If they want something, I just try to learn later on and go from there.
Hell yeah. Cause I know, like, when I first started, giving you, selling you photos and seeing you online and talking with Sean, who's one of your clients out here, I don't remember seeing the taillights, but I was very excited when I went on the site and I was able to see that you're growing, you're moving in definitely in a positive direction. You're expanding your business for sure. Let's go back to the beginning with you, because you kind of are in a weird space, if I can say. You sell parts, but that's not where you started. So nope. What got you into the car game? What got you started with all this?
What got me in the car game has always been my grandpa, my dad. Like, I grew up in Philippines, and they practically turned the garage into a shop. So I remember back then, waking up in the morning from loud banging, doing metal work, and I get out in the garage and there's a bunch of mechanics and, metal fabricator guys that's just doing their thing. But I've always been interested in the design aspect of it. Like, I got into, lowriders. I was really interested in lowriders and stuff like that.
That's like California scene, huh?
I guess so. Yeah.
We don't get too many lowriders out here. I mean, I think there's a few, but there's not too many. I know. I have a buddy out in Texas that I served with in the military. He was big into lowriders, and I know California's got a whole ton of them. Were you working on lowriders or no?
I mean, that's one of my bucket lists, to be honest. Like, I want to get into pretty much everything. I like lowriders, muscle cars. I mean, I guess I got into JDM because I'm Asian.
Fair enough.
But my first love was, Chevy, like big ass Chevy trucks. Chevelle is one of my favorites. 70, 69 Chevelle.
Damn, that's my favorite too. 70 Chevelle.
Yeah, definitely 64 Impala, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were more drawn to the American muscle before you were to the JDM.
Yep.
Not too bad.
Yeah, because the thing is, my grandpa, we used to stay there every weekend. I guess everybody did. And I would wake up in the morning on a Sunday morning, and my grandpa was just watching NASCAR. So, and he would tell me, when you grow up, buy a Chevy, it's built like a rock, stuff like that. So I've always been a Chevy guy.
Fair enough. And then when you got into JDM, when you finally got out of the Chevys, 'cause I don't think you ever really worked on those. What started Organized Garage Status? Where did this come from?
Well, funny story. When I was in high school, I was a little bit obsessed with organized crime, like mafias and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it was basically a wordplay on organized crime. So I came up with Organized Garage.
All right. And then was it always for automotive lighting parts and services, or was it something else before that?
Well, when I first moved to California about 10 years ago, I tried doing mobile detailing. So I was doing that for probably a couple of years in San Diego. I remember passing out like printed out flyers, and that's how it started. Basically, there was a guy on a Club Lexus, um, Anthony, and he posted one day that he bought like 12 sets of headlights already. And this was like 10 years ago when headlights used to cost like, I don't know, 250 a piece, and he bought 12. And he was explaining how it just kept on becoming yellow and water getting in. And I just offered him, like as a service to the community. I told him, just send me the best looking lights you have, and I'll restore it and just pay for the parts that I'm going to use.
So
and it just started from there.
You took it upon yourself to go ahead and learn how to restore the headlights.
I mean, restoring headlights is pretty much like detailing the car, like the paint.
Okay, so there's a process that you go through. I mean, well, I learned everything through YouTube. Back, 10 years ago, you didn't have YouTube University. So how did you just kind of figured it out on your own?
Yes, and I kind of have a background as well. I used to enjoy detailing back in Philippines. So it started from there, and just started experimenting because, the industry, they keep on coming out with new products every day. Right. So like 3M, they always have like a new headlight restoration kit, and I get to try everything out and basically find out which one works best. It also comes down to skills, of course. You get to develop that as you do it every day.
Hell yeah! So then I guess you graduated from restoring into custom building. Are you selling aftermarket parts? Like, are you like buying a headlight from somewhere and reselling it, or are you just plainly building them on your own?
Well, we're also reseller, but there are a lot of bigger companies that sell a lot more than we do. So I just kind of focus on custom lights because that's what people know me for.
What kind of lights do you mainly work on? Is it usually just JDM or
anything? I have a exclusive market with the first gen NSX Acura, R32 GTRs, the SC Storer. Let me see. I also have an exclusive market for 240Z taillights. So I just try to do firsts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like whenever people bring up something they want me to copy, I try to convince them into doing a different design or a different way of doing it, just so it stands out and doesn't look like what's already out there.
I like that. So you got to be something different. How many hours are you saying you're putting into these headlights when you're doing custom work like that?
Oh man, a lot of hours. For restoration, basic restoration stuff. The thing is, I have like two ways of doing it. If it's a car that's been around like 10 so years, I start from scratch. Like I actually go through the entire trouble of scraping off all the old glue, cleaning everything, like washing it, detailing it inside and out. So if it's like an older vehicle, it can be anywhere from 8 to 15 hours just for a restoration service.
Really, just for restoration?
Just for restoration.
Damn, because I was online and I actually was talking about your website with somebody else one day, and like, yeah, he does great work and it's fairly expensive. So my mentality was, well, you got to take apart these lights, you're doing all this, that, and the third. If that's just for a restoration, I could only imagine how much work is going into these custom headlights where you're actually dismantling, taking them apart, putting in the LEDs, stuff like that. That seems like a lot of work to me now.
A lot of work. I treat every build as my own because, like, to me, it's like I'm never gonna see it again, you know. So I try to enjoy every step of the way. It's sort of like a graffiti artist. Like once they put their tag on the wall, that's it. You can't take it home. You know, you can't enjoy it like seeing it every day. It's not like that.
Right.
So I take my as much time as I can just to perfect everything.
Is there any time? Is there anything that you do a job and then you're like, man, I don't want to give this away, and you want to you want to keep it for yourself?
Ah, like so many times. Like there are times when I build something for a different platform, and I don't have that car, and I'm just like, man, I gotta get one of those cars so I can build that for me.
What's your favorite headlight to work on?
Oh, to work on, I hate the SC headlights to be honest.
Really?
It's just yeah, it's just a really bad design from the factory. That's why it
I
keeps
wasn't
on
expecting that
leak.
because the guy that I know who bought his headlights from you is an SC. He drives an SC, and he said he was having leak issues where he was getting a lot of water in and they were discolored. So he said he called you up and he got some custom made headlights and sent out to him. So I was thinking that because you have an SC yourself, we'll get to
Hmm.
talking about that. But because you have an SC yourself, I was expecting that was going to be like your baby.
Nah, it's just an overall bad design. You know, from the engineering standpoint of it, like there are spots in the headlight casing that the channel where the glue goes on is just way wide, and that's where the water starts to seep through. So
Ah.
if it's not done properly, then it's just going to keep on happening.
That's crazy. I never thought about how they can screw that up. I'm surprised that they didn't think about that from the factory. What's the easiest headlight to work on then if that's the worst?
Acura NSX, easiest.
Really?
Yeah, anything that's like a square type. That's so easy to work on. Yeah,
And then
it's
what
like
is
I don't even put it in the oven. Like I just use a heat gun, do 3 rounds around it,
that's
and then it just comes off.
that
Yeah,
easy?
that easy.
I would have never
Yeah,
thought that. I would have figured you were baking everything.
yeah. I used to not use the oven a lot because a lot of times, especially if it's like the gas oven, it burns the lens, and I've seen it happen so many times.
Really? So there's these
Yeah.
little tricks and nuances that you've picked up over the years, I assume.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We actually have a group on Facebook for headlight builders.
Huh. They got a group for
Yeah,
everything nowadays. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah,
Dude, they can literally have a group for everything on Facebook. It's not even a joke anymore.
yeah.
I gotta ask you, what's the newest headlight that you came out with now? Or do you like name your headlight builds or have like specific ones that you like? You just sleep in at night. You're like, I'm gonna put an LED light over here.
Actually, before you called, I just wrapped up a an SC300 headlights. It's full custom. I put in 3 projectors in the low beam, and I did a carbon fiber skinning for
Really?
everything.
Oh no, we lost them. All right, we're back. So what you were talking about was the carbon fiber skinning. We killed the video and just did the phone call because maybe it'll come through a little bit easier with we won't drop any phone calls. So you said you were
Yeah,
doing a carbon fiber skinning around it?
yeah. I did a carbon fiber skinning, and I had absolutely no idea how to do it, and it was a year-long build. I actually just finished today. I started on it January last year, but it's not like I worked on it the entire year. It's just like learning how to do the carbon fiber skinning took a while.
Really? So when you
Yeah.
say skinning, you're saying that like where the chrome would be in certain spots, you had to lay carbon fiber wrap, I guess?
Yeah, but the original, the authentic carbon fiber, not like the vinyl, or
Oh,
what do you call
you
that?
mean like actual carbon fiber. This isn't no fake vinyl crap.
Exactly. It's actual carbon fiber. Yeah.
Damn. Oh man, I underestimated because I was like, I'm sitting here like, oh, that doesn't sound too hard. You just go ahead and lay it in there. And you're like, okay, that makes damn carbon fiber headlights.
Yeah, and I'm probably never gonna do it again because it's a pain in the ass.
And that I can imagine. Damn, I
I
can't
mean,
even imagine what that looks like.
it's funny because a lot of times whenever I watch videos of how to lay the carbon fiber, a lot of times people lay it in one piece and then they do the vacuum wrapping and all that stuff.
Right.
But because of the intricate design of headlights, I can't lay it all in one. So I had to do it layer by layer.
Wow. That
And
seems like a lot of work.
it was a lot of work, like a lot of work, a lot of hours. What I charged for my client didn't even come up to how much hours I had spent to do it.
Well, I mean that's the downside of starting something you've never done before, right? So I think
Exactly.
the one weird side about custom work is you're putting a price on something that you're like, well, I think I can get it done this fast. But if you don't get it done that fast, and in this scenario, if you don't even get them close, you can't call the customer up and be like, hey, I mean you could, but you probably won't keep the customer for too long. But hey, it took twice as long. I'm gonna have to up the price. And I mean, maybe for material, but I don't think you would want to be doing that all the time. So I think that's the weird part about custom. I mean, those got to be a one-off headlight, though. I don't think you're gonna find any other person doing carbon fiber headlights, right?
Exactly. Actually, what's funny about that build was my client, she wanted to buy the same exact headlight that I built for myself. And I told her, I kind of felt bad. I'm going to charge you, this much, and it's going to be a replica of something. There's going to be two of us, driving around the streets with the same type of headlights for that much. So I tried to kind of persuade her to do a little bit different. And I was thinking like a different color scheme or something like that. And she was just like, how about carbon fiber, like authentic carbon fiber skinning? And I'm like, that's something I've never done before. I mean, might as well.
Damn, it's famous last words. But I'm telling you, that's going to be something else. I hope I can. I'm gonna have to get her Instagram because that's got to be. I got to see it now. Now I need to see it. But you just finished it, so you haven't even shipped it out yet.
Not yet, but I posted some previews on Instagram, and man, this lights are crazy.
If you it's OG status, right?
Yeah, O.G. status.
O.G. status on Instagram. Go ahead and check it out. But
yeah, without the dots, it's a different account.
That's pretty crazy. So I mean, I've flipped through the website, and I know you have two different lines. You have the artesian line and the Horus line. What is the difference between that?
The artisan lighting is basically all my custom builds, all the everything that we designed, and the Horus lighting is where I'm trying to build a brand basically of aftermarket parts for lighting, like the projector retrofit brackets. They're all designed by me, all designed through AutoCAD. And I also have my own CNC machine, and basically cut it from home.
Okay. So you're kind of building something here from the ground up.
Yeah. And then I also have my own brand of HID lighting. So I'm still in the beginning process of it, but for example, like the LED taillights, those are going to be stuff that we're going to be offering under the Horus Lighting brand.
Nice.
So we're going to be making LED drop in boards for taillights for various models, and basically people can just buy the boards and install it themselves.
So you're kind of cutting out the whole you having to go ahead and take everything apart. It's now something that you can kind of sell, and they can kind of take it upon themselves to finish the build.
Yes. I mean, hopefully, a lot of people still prefer sending their headlights to me. But yeah, hopefully we can go down that route.
That makes sense though. So, and then I'm looking at you have a good stack of clients on here, and I see some of my photos on here, which I'm very proud of, by the way. But what would you say is the most memorable client you've worked with? Is that a Hyundai?
Yes, that's a Hyundai.
Wait a minute. I'm scrolling through the website here and I'm looking at all. I'm like, all right, that's an SC400. You got a couple of off-road trucks on here, some Land Rovers and stuff like that. And now I see there's a 2005 Hyundai Ascent.
Yeah, that's my father-in-law, so I had to put it there.
That just made my night, dude. That made my night. Because it looks really good. I'm not going to lie, you did a hell of a job. Holy shit. I'm so shocked. I can't believe it. It looks really good.
And that car is still running around.
Damn. I'm not gonna lie. The NSX you have on here, you have two of them. Pretty nasty.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's really hard to decide. It's like every time I make a one-off design, I love it. I just fall in love with it.
So it turns into your immediate favorite.
Yeah. Like now, every time it's a one-off design, I love it.
So now you what I see is, and I know we were talking before, you have an SC300 pretty much behind you in the garage. What's the build on that? What's the current build on that? And what was the plan? Because I know we talked both about how the plan always changes, but what was the plan and what's the current build on that?
Yeah, when I first got the 300, because I used to have a S400, and back then everybody was all over 5-speed. They're saying it's rare. So when I found the original 5-speed, I was like, I just have to have it. And then it was black on black. I used to have a navy blue SC400, and I've always loved black cars. Like all my cars are black.
Right.
So I'm like, I gotta have it. I drove from San Diego all the way to San Francisco. It's like a 14-hour drive just to pick up the car and drive it all the way back home. Yeah. And I sold the SC400, which was a big mistake because the SC300 is truly underwhelming. I'm telling you.
Really?
I mean, a lot of people are probably going to hate me for saying that.
Yeah, don't say that too loud, man.
But the stock non-turbo GE engine is just way too slow. Way too slow.
So pretty much what you're saying is you have to do an engine swap if you're going to go in an SC300.
If my wife lets me. Yeah. But yeah, that was the original plan, do not really a swap, but just do a NAT build, because I just feel bad, just doing a swap when it took me 2 years to find a original 5-speed. So I'm trying to keep it as original as possible with a little more, power.
Yeah, you fell into that area where you're like, you feel guilty if you start changing the original.
Exactly. Yeah. It already has a factory LSD from a Supra. I'm not sure which one. I've never looked into it. I'm just happy I don't get stuck in driveways whenever I try to hop in steep driveways. I mean, I'm thankful for that.
I hear you. But, how did you go ahead? I'm listening.
Yeah, the previous owner, he already installed the Supra brakes, the big brake kit, front and back. They were all brand new when I first got the car 8 years ago, and I took them off a couple of years back, got them polished, mirror polished, and I haven't really driven it, during the entire lockdown. So
that's rough.
It's just dusting away right now.
No, you can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen. You got to drive that car.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually finishing up a new set of headlights for this car, so I can drive it out again.
Hell yeah. I got to ask you how you got in touch with Sean, because that's how I know you through. If you don't know Sean, we've had him here on the podcast. SC400 Turbo V8. He actually is one of the rare that has the SC400 and kept the V8 in it and didn't do an engine swap. And
Yep.
I know he's got your headlights in there. So did he hit you up? Does he know you from a Facebook group? How does that work?
I think I've seen Sean's car on Club Lexus when people were still on Club Lexus before Facebook group took over. So yeah, I've seen Sean's car before, but I think I met Sean through Ryan. Ryan has a S400 with twin turbo that I believe he's been building it for 18 years, something like that.
Wow.
So that was the very first custom mold that I ever did for a headlight.
All right, that works. So you met Sean through Ryan, and that's how Sean got your number. Would you say that? Would you say that like once people get into the SC platform, they kind of that's where they stay? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, you had your car for a very long time, and Sean's had his for a very long time, and it just seems like once people get into the SC platform, they never sell the car, or it's very rare that they get rid of it.
Yeah, even way back then. So I was still new to the SE platform. I met people who had to buy the car like three times already. Like they would get rid of the first one, they'd miss it, they'd find another one. Like it's just crazy. People keep on getting attracted to it. Like I know some people who gave it up like probably 8 years ago, started a family, and then now they got back into it. And I'm like, hey, I know you from back then.
It's like
Yeah.
welcome back, welcome back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that's one of the rare cars that I feel is like that. They just have that pull. I know, most people will stay with maybe like if you have a Honda, you have a Honda. If you have, a BMW, stick with BMW, but that's one of those cars that like an SC300, SC400, and that's kind of where they stay. I very rarely see anybody kind of waver once they have that car. That car usually sits there and it kind of slowly builds and builds. Do you have any cars that maybe have gone to like any like these high end shows other than, I mean, those carbon fiber headlights, I assume are going to be at a show everywhere. But do you plan on like trying to do any type of like SEMA parts or anything like that since you're so close to SEMA out there?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. SEMA was actually one of my goals when it started in the car business. Everybody's been watching SEMA since they were kids, And a couple years back when I saw those welds on those trucks, SEMA just turned me off all of a sudden.
Really?
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No,
Like
no, no.
there were a bunch of pictures that came out from SEMA, and the welds on the roll cages on some of the trucks were just plain trash. And like everybody was like, so this is how easy it is to get on SEMA nowadays.
Oh, so what you're saying is like it's gotten to the point where people seem to be throwing stuff together to make it look cool so it gets out there, but there's no like, I wouldn't say but there's a lack of craftsmanship.
I think it's just that people try to cram so much time, a few months before SEMA. I mean, so much work a few months before SEMA, and they always think that they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it, and at the end of it, it's just not enough work.
That's rough. Has anybody ever contacted you for maybe just doing the headlight portion of it, or that it's just not something that you're like in your radar anymore?
Um, there's been a lot of people actually contacted me, telling me it's for a SEMA car. But the thing is, a lot of times, people expect that you're going to be able to work around their schedule, or basically do it way cheaper just because it's going to be on SEMA, and it's not really my focus. When I build something, like I said, it's very personal to me. I treat it like it's my own. So I want to be able to work on it on my own terms, on my own time, and basically just take my time and perfect it.
Yeah, publicity never sells, never pays the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay the mortgage company in publicity. So I understand the, being a photographer, I understand the trying to get paid thing. But
Hmm.
I appreciate that you take that mentality of artistry into a work like that, because a lot of, I wouldn't say everything, but a lot, it's cookie cutter nowadays. Everybody seems to be
It
coming
is.
out with the same stuff. That what they'll do is they'll build one part and then they'll go
Hmm.
ahead and just reproduce that one part over and over and over again. I know that got that way when I had my Tacoma. Um, I think there were like three big companies that were doing rear bumpers for it. And this was when I was like hella, into I'm going to build this overland Tacoma. And then I never had the money. But,
Hmm.
which is, I'm pretty sure every car builder can understand. But
Yeah.
I remember trying to get like a rear bumper, and I remember seeing like there were three rear bumpers and that was it. And everybody was just reproducing the same one. Like they'd go ahead and be like, oh, well, we created our rear bumper for this build, for this car and that for this truck, and that's what it's going to be. So for you to be trying to steer clients away from doing that, where, it'd probably be easier on you if you were just go ahead buying, after or buying parts, like buying headlights from wherever, junkyard, I don't care, and then just
Hmm.
slapping your builds on it and then selling them as is. It would probably be easier. It might be even cheaper for you as a builder. But the fact that you're specifically going out of your way to try to build something new every time, I really like that. That definitely speaks
Hmm.
to the artist inside you. I know you're speaking about the graffiti before, but that's
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I think it's also because I've always been a observer, and I've seen so many people specifically in this industry that actually started this industry that I'm in. They went all the way. They went SEMA. They had the entire shop and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, people in reality aren't as ready to pay for one-off headlights as they are willing to pay for a Jay-Z swap or whatever performance parts. So realistically speaking, I'm just patiently waiting until headlights get treatment as whatever part you put into your car that you're willing to spend 3 grand or whatnot.
Well,
So
I would say that like headlights are the finishing one of the finishing touches. That's like the putting the bow on the wrapping paper. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone goes
mhm,
ahead and the first thing they do when they get to a car show is pop the hood to show the engine. And I feel like a
yeah,
lot of the times the headlights and the little details, the side mirrors, tail lights, fog lights, anything like that starts to fall away. People don't want to see that as much, and I feel like that's the off factor, right? So like kids will be, oh wow, that's an awesome engine. But I feel
mhm,
like the true car enthusiasts, the ones that really appreciate the build for the build and understand what they're looking at, headlights do make a difference. Because I remember Sean's car before the headlights, and now I know Sean's car very well after the headlights, and it's a night and day difference. No lie, it's almost like a different car.
it truly is. Here's one thing that I wanted to point out. A lot of times, a lot of you know, uh, for example, SE guys, they want to do, they want to make it to look like a modern car. They want to install a daytime running light. Those LED strips at the bottom.
Right.
And a lot of times, people just buy whatever LED strip they can get from Amazon or whatever, like the tube type LED strips, and then they simply just double tape it or you know stick it with a wire
Jesus.
at the bottom of the headlight and call it a day.
Oh boy.
Um, and when they see my work, people go crazy. Like I can't even see the LED strip. They can't even find it until you turn it on. Then they realize, oh, there's actually a bracket. I actually designed a bracket where the LED strip would go below it so that you don't see it when everything is turned off. So it looks factory. So when you look at it, everything looks factory. It doesn't look like it's made or whatever. And everything is hidden. All the wirings are all hidden. You don't see none of that. And I guess what I'm saying is a lot of times people don't really realize that the smallest details make the biggest difference.
That's amazing. I never really thought that, that, man, you're building brackets to hide the lighting. That's that creativity. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, man. I mean, I kind of got out of you what I really wanted to get out of you. I wanted to know about, the current build that you had. I wanted to know about the website and how you got into what you're doing. It really does make sense. And now that I've spoken to you, flipping through the website definitely makes me feel a lot. I appreciate what you do a lot more after speaking with you. I'm not going to lie. Where do you hope organized garage status goes? If everybody's looking for it, it's organizedgaragestatus.com. Go ahead and take a look. It's phenomenal. The work is very impressive, but I know you said you got the Horus lighting, right? That's something that you want to have going with the CNC. And what else? Where would your ultimate goal be? Are you looking to get it? Because I know you do a lot of this work in your own garage. Are you looking to move out into a bigger shop? Are we expanding? Are we hiring other people? Or you really appreciate just keeping it, by yourself and giving that extra, care to each headlight?
To be completely honest with you, everything you said. Like, I want to move to a bigger shop. I'm very appreciative of all my clients because, I mean, building custom parts is a very rough industry. I mean, it doesn't matter whatever custom part you build. You're trying to convince people to buy something that they've never seen, they've never touched. So it's really hard, and there are a lot of people that doesn't have imagination. Like, you can explain to them as much as you can, as detailed as possible, and there are people who are going to be like, I have no idea, I can't picture it in my head.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like that. I have a hard time picturing the final product in my head. I could tell you, like, hey, I kind of want it to look like this, or I kind of want it to look like that, but you could explain it 6 ways from Sunday, and I just can't envision it until it's right in front of me. So I'm one of those people.
Yeah, and it's really hard to convince them, if it's something they've never seen before. So that's another thing that I tried to learn. I tried to learn Photoshop, just so I can actually render whatever it is that I'm imagining, and I can show it to a client, and they can be like, oh, so that's going to be what it's going to be, end up looking like.
Oh, I didn't know you took that. That's another extra step that you take as somebody doing custom work, to try to show them what it's going to be. Man, Dan, I'm impressed. I am impressed. I'm definitely impressed. I mean, I've talked to you. I've shared some photos with you and talked to you on Instagram. But now that you get, and this is exactly what this is what these interviews was meant to do. When we started these interviews, we wanted people to understand, like, who these people were behind the scenes, whether you were a shop owner, a builder, a racer, a sponsor, anything like that. That was the whole point of doing this. And I feel like you definitely brought it forth, like, exactly the reason why you get into it and what you're looking to accomplish with all this. I'm hella impressed. Is there anything else that you wanted to get out there before we kind of start wrapping up here?
What I really want to tell people is, it doesn't really matter if it's something that you've seen before or it's something that you've never done before. If it's something you're passionate about, you can always Google it and learn it. I mean, nothing is impossible nowadays. It's just plain lazy if you just sit back and say, I don't know how to do this, and that's it. My life's over. It's crazy. I came from practically nothing. I migrated to US with like 1,700 in my pocket, and in 2 months' time, we had our own place. Me and my wife and my daughter.
Wow.
So I know everybody's in the dumps right now with everything going on, So I just want to put that positivity out there.
I appreciate that. That's huge. That's they say this is the land of opportunity, and I think people definitely are down, especially with everything that went on last year and is still kind of going on this year. So it's always good to see and hear about somebody who put that work in and made it. And I like the fact that you're trying to project that onto others so they can follow in your footsteps. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, Dan. Again, if you're looking for it, it's o.g.status on Instagram, organizedgaragestatus.com on the website. Go ahead and check out his work. If there's something that's not on there that you want to try, I mean, the man does custom work. Hit him up. He'll probably do something for you, and he does phenomenal work. I'm not going to lie. I've seen these.
Anything.
I've seen these headlights up close. I've held them in my hands. I've taken photos of them. It is phenomenal work, and you owe it to yourself to go ahead and put that finishing touch on your project car. It's something that people seem to overlook, but I promise you, when you put those headlights on your car and you go to a car show, it's going to be the first thing that people notice, because it's usually the first thing that goes on a lot of these cars is the headlights. And when you put something on there that really pops, it just brings it all together. So go and check them out. Dan, I really appreciate you. I thank everybody for coming on to the show and listening tonight. It's a late night for me because Dan's all the way out in California, so we had to run this one a little late, but I'm up for it. And yeah, go ahead, like, subscribe on YouTube, 5 stars on the podcast, subscribe, hit the notifications if you can. Tell everybody about the show so we can get some more followers and listeners. And I really appreciate everybody, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.